Hello YouTube, Stefan here, and today I have a very special video for you. This is actually the first time I've ever painted a miniature, and so I thought I'd record me doing that. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to be talking over most of the video here, just sort of explaining what I'm doing. Of course, I start by taking out all the sprues with all the miniatures on them, and then go into the instruction manual and I figure out which one I want to try to assemble first, and I think I choose the third one here in the manual. I thought it would be pretty decent amount of detail, but also has enough space for me to paint and rather forgiving. I think I kind of made a small mistake by getting the Chaos Space Marines as my first uh, project, since I have no previous painting experience. This is actually, honestly, the first time I've ever really picked up a brush for any reason. And, I mean, it didn't turn out terrible, but here I am gluing together the parts. This lasts for a little bit. The glue I was using was very nice. It came in a set of essential stuff from Games Workshop that I ordered. Really nice. That's also where I have all my paints from. But here, as you can see, I'm almost done assembling, and, well, we'll just skip to the end of the assembly process and get to the priming and painting. Alright, so here we have the model primed. I actually primed it white, which I think was a mistake. Sadly, I didn't get any I wasn't able to get any video of me actually priming the model, mostly because I don't actually have a camera that I can use to record outside of my room, and I did not prime inside my room because I didn't want the fumes, I guess, getting everywhere. But here I'm base coating with a Baden black, or just black, because I want the model to come out, you know, dark in the end. I think this also was another mistake, to paint it black completely, but honestly this was just a huge learning experience, and honestly I learned so much from doing this. So we'll just skip ahead a little bit to when the model's more close to actually being painted. Alright, so here we are after I applied 2 base coats of black, and now I decided to try to dry brush with white paint to catch the detail on the edges. Sadly, I think I might have done this a little bit too early, and I kind of smeared paint and I applied the highlights too thick in some areas, so sadly I didn't get the effect I wanted. But still, it turned out okay, especially for my first try. But anyways, we're going to stop right here and get on to the shading. Alright, now here I got a bottle of Agrax Earthshade, and I'm going to paint this all over the model. This will have hopefully given it a little bit of depth, and adds a little bit of darkness into the recesses and light in the light parts, essentially. It's just basically a way to quickly shade a model without having to do it manually, I guess. The finished product wasn't too bad. I had the same problem where I did it a little bit too early the first time and kind of smeared some of the paint, so I waited for that to dry and then started with it back up after it fully dried. Now here is where I actually start painting the model. This part obviously took the longest. My brushwork isn't the best. My hands are a little bit shaky, and I'm kind of had troubles getting the right consistency for the paint. Of course I thinned the paints before I used them, so I just mixed a little bit of water in. But sometimes I got the paints a little bit too thin, sometimes they were a little bit too thick. Sometimes I couldn't get. I would put a little bit too much on my brush when I was doing some fine details, and I'd get too much on one area, and it would be really hard to clean that up. Uh, but even through all that, I think I did a pretty decent job. I mixed together some paints. I don't think we're quite onto that part. Here's where I tried to paint the skull, but this was one of the parts where I mixed the paint with a bit too much water, and it was too runny, so it didn't really paint the skull well at all. And this is the part I mixed black with blue to get just kind of a deeper blue, deeper darker blue, because I didn't want the Chaos Space Marines to be ultramarine blue. So the two colors I used was Macragge blue and Abaddon black. So of course I was wondering this new color I created if I should call it Abaddon blue or Macragge black, but I figure neither of those make too much sense, so I'll just call it deeper darker blue for now. Here, I think this is where I started on the legs, where I was finishing up the blue for the legs, and I had already done the shoulders and the arms. I already highlighted the edges of most of the armor with silver. I experimented a little bit mixing the silver with other colors to see what I could get, and I mixed the silver with Balthazar gold, and I painted that on the cloth, as well as some. It was, I think, Bugman's glow on the cloth, and I also mixed it with the Mephiston red. That was the lead belcher. No, that was actually Balthazar gold. I mixed with the red, and I painted it on the bolter. I don't think we've quite got to that part. Sorry if the camera, if the mini gets out of shot sometimes. I was really concentrating on it, and my setup I can't really check all the time to make sure it's in shot. So if the mini ever falls out of shot, I was just really trying to concentrate on some of those details, and I was kind of pulling it close to my face. Or if my head ever pops into frame, please excuse that. But yeah, and then I painted the eyes. Just with some red. Sadly, when I primed it, I had the spray can a little bit too close for the first shot, so the right front side of the mini got a really thick layer of white primer, and that kind of messed up the detail in some areas. So that made painting it a bit of a challenge, because I didn't want to risk wiping it and smearing the detail even more. So I kind of just had to guess where the eyes were, but I just followed through from where the other eyes would, put a red dot in equal size on the other side. So, after I finished the armor, I decided to start working on the cloth and the belt and the bolter that he has on his back hip. I painted those. I already told what I had the combination for the cloth that I'm painting right now, but for the strap on the back, I just used brown. And then in all the the cracks between the armor, essentially, or the spaces between the armor, I painted those black. And then the pack on his back, I don't exactly know what that is, but I painted the lights, I think they are, red. Most of the pack then was just painted black, and then I painted the top of it really dark, the dark blue that I had for the armor. And then after that, I went over again and highlighted it all I highlighted all the edges, and then I tried dry brushing a little bit, and then pipes, I painted silver. The skull kind of just remain untouched. It's a bit of a mess, honestly. I might try to fix it later, but I don't think I will be able to. I think if I try to do anything, I'll just mess it up more, so I think I might just have to leave it and, you know, cut my losses. But all in all, it wasn't terrible. I think I learned a lot. I now have more experience, which is the big part. This took me, I think, 2 hours to paint. Now, I don't know. I think that might have been rather fast. I probably didn't wait long enough in some areas, and the paint didn't dry properly and such, and I probably could have paid more attention to details, which I will definitely be doing on my future models, because now I know more what it is, what it entails to paint. These models are kind of well, this model is a bit of annoying because the bolter was right up close to his chest, and the cloth on the back side was really close to the legs, so it was really hard to get in there and paint because I would hit the sides of the legs and the cloth with like either armor color or cloth color, which I didn't want. But that wasn't too big a deal. I was usually able to correct that because I just go in there with a smaller brush afterwards. This is the part where I'm painting the bolter. This means we're getting pretty close to the end. I think I just, at this point, started to try and touch up any areas that I had really messed up on. Like the interior between the armor pieces, I made sure that that was more black. Some of the armor panels, the silver and blue, I kind of, what's the word? Mixed them. Like I messed up basically, and I hit this side of the armor with silver or blue, or it wasn't supposed to. But anyways, here I am painting the jump pack, painting the lights in red, and mixing up some more of that blue, that dark blue, to paint on the top. And once I finished this, I was done with the model. I'm pretty sure there was like way more stuff I could have done, although I'm gonna be honest, I don't exactly know how. I'm probably going to have to watch more videos, honestly. But anyways, here is the finished product. There's just this picture up on screen. It's a bit higher quality because the camera I'm using is kind of crappy. But here it is. This is the model. I'm honestly, it's not too bad. I'm hoping my models in the future will be better. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something. I enjoyed doing this, and if you enjoy this, please be sure to leave a like and maybe subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm out.